Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. I'm bang in the middle of moving my stuff out to the new studio, the new house, but I thought I'd drop in and make a video. My eyes are absolutely fudged. Had a few of these brandy whiskey bonbons. Otaku glasses to the rescue. This is my own brand, by the way, making success inevitable. Anyway, I've seen some videos in the last few days, last few weeks around Liverpool transfers. Who shall we keep? Who shall we sell in our current squad? And a lot of the takes are absolutely horrendous. A lot of very shallow analysis, nothing in depth, a lot of secondhand Chinese whispers, media gossip and tweets as well. You got to understand that squad building is an art. There's a personable side, a humanistic side around it. And one of the big successes of Liverpool in the last few seasons is all the bromances we've seen. Obviously, Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk, the wingmen, Robbo and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Endo, Lallana, Milner's or teachers' pets, you know, schoolboy prefects, you know, kissing ass to the manager. Love it. Love me some ass kissing. And squad building really is methodical and logical, and with Michael Edwards at the helm and Richard Hughes first time in charge at Liverpool FC as well, it's going to be a very, very interesting summer. You've got to have the characters in the dressing room, which is why Adrian San Miguel's hung around for so long. His arm around the shoulder, bright, cheery, sparky personality, doesn't mind that he never plays. Best job in the world, never playing, right? Between him and Scott Carson at Manchester City, what a gig, earning thousands and thousands a week to be the third choice goalkeeper. But they play their part because in training you need those goalkeepers. You need the people to be imposing in the goal so people can take their shots and try to beat them, bend it around them. Obviously, we need some shooting practice for sure before next season. Anyway, I digress a little bit. That's a different topic. So yes, as a Liverpool fan, this channel is a channel with substance in abundance, and let's get into it. I mean, you need characters like Kostas Tsimikas, who everyone takes the mickey out of. He's absolutely the satire, the butt end of jokes as well. You need leaders like Thiago Alcantara, who people universally respect. He's been there, done it, seen it all. He's going to be moving on, by the way, but I'll give you analysis on each and every player as well. But people like Weeby Ibu Konate, right, coming in, and obviously with his Kamehameha, he's brought out the Dragon Ball Z fighter in Harvey Elliott as well. You need these characters. So let's start at the very beginning with the goalkeepers. Alisson Becker, 100% keep for sure. World-class goalkeeper, probably the best goalkeeper in the world. But he's slightly, ever so slightly injury prone, gets these extended breaks every now and again. Is that enough to convince Queeve Kelleher to stay long term? Because Queeve Kelleher could be an able backup. He's shown this season, he steps into the breach and fills the gap admirably. He adds his own qualities. His kicking is on point, his communication is not bad as well. He's not as dominant in the air as Alisson Becker. His footwork is superb, his technique is superb. You can tell that he's played outfield before. Striker, right? But this is going to be on Queeve Kelleher, whether the management team can convince him that he's got a long-term future, and whether he thinks Alisson is out for a sustained period of time enough, and also whether he'll get those early Champions League group games, possibly, the cup games, definitely. Is that enough for Queeve to stay? Who knows? But it will be a decision between him and the management about what to do with his future, but perhaps it is time he leaves. But then again, we'll lose the best number 2 in the league, so it'd be very unfortunate. You'd expect around 20 million for Queeve Kelleher, I'd say, in this current market. Still not good to lose your number 2, but it's understandable, and you've got to do good by him because it's his career on the line as well. International Ireland shirt, he's got to get it off Gavin Bazunu, so he might want to play. Then we look at number 3. Pichulaga is coming on leaps and bounds. Not quite sure, not convinced he's ready yet to be third choice keeper, but he's talented. He looks very, very talented. An able shot stopper. He's got a highlight reel already from the trainings. We always kept Adrian San Miguel for the vibes. Great character. He's the hand over the shoulder, the person to talk to, and he never complains, does his job, and he's the first cheerleader on the bench as well, but I think his time is up. Arnie Slot coming in will probably get a cheap, experienced third choice goalkeeper to fill in the breach. And Liverpool usually do quite well with youth goalkeepers. Camille Grabara, we sold him for about 6 million euros, and actually he's moving on again for 15 million euros, right? So we do quite well. Golakshi, young Hungarian goalkeeper as well. He's doing quite well, established himself. RB Leipzig. So you know that we can spot a good young goalkeeper with talent, so you've got to trust the transfer committee on this occasion. Additionally, Adrian San Miguel definitely going for a choice keeper, and the second choice keeper if Kelleher's going. Let's move on to the defence. Don't need these glasses. Now here's a big trick the non-Liverpool fans always miss when it comes to team unity and team ethics and team responsibility. Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are part of the Liverpool leadership team. And that actually means something. Not only are they quality players who are well established and well versed in the way the Liverpool play and everything that it means to be a Liverpool player, because they are the highest assisters in the Premier League. Robertson down the left, Trent Alexander-Arnold down the right. It means that they are the players that people look up to and come to when they need advice how to settle into Liverpool. They'd probably be first on hand to make sure that they give him a warm welcome. Robertson, when Gravenberch came, for example, said, "Finally, a good Dutch player," and Van Dijk and Gakpo laughed their arse off. Similarly, when Arne Slot comes in, Robertson would be like, "Finally, a good Dutch manager to the Premier League," and Van Gaal and Ten Hag will be laughing their ass off, that kind of thing, yeah. So there's no way when Arne Slot comes in and wanting a transitional season to embed his style of play, his philosophy, he needs trusted lieutenants. There's no way that Robertson will be moved on. Even which club would take Robertson at the fee that we demand for him? He's still getting those assists, still solid defensively, a viable option, probably first choice left back, right? Similarly, Trent Alexander-Arnold, generational talent, don't need to explain. He'll sign a new contract. It's pretty much written in the stars. He's Scow's heartbeat, born and bred. Looking into the centre-back position, Virgil van Dijk, the captain, Dutchy's already kind of committed his future. Somewhat iffy. He said, yep, I'm going to be here for the next stages. He'll sign a new contract too. Ibu Konate, you'd probably deem him our first choice partner to Van Dijk. His form has drifted off a bit towards the latter part of this season. However, French international, high caliber, physicality, a beast, can contest with any forward in world football. He's definitely a mainstay. He just needs to avoid those niggly injuries as usual. Then you look behind them, Joel Matip out of contract, the giraffe, probably best free signing of the modern era, alongside James Milner, obviously Gary McAllister back in the day as well. Yes, unfortunately Matip will probably move to Pastors New because Arne Slot will look to bring someone in that particular squad place, but don't discredit Matip. Those runs through the middle, he was first choice in Champions League final against Tottenham. He's always been first choice in the biggest matches. Absolute monster of a player, Joel Matip. Respect on his name, Ciao Coco, cannot the accent, amazing, love it. Joe Gomez. Now here's the really interesting thing, right? He's come to prominence this season. At the start of the season, people wanted him sold as well. But when you're a Liverpool fan and when you build your squad, you've got to understand that players like Joe Gomez who get their heads down, knuckle down, but most importantly, he's homegrown. Now when you squad build, you have to account for the homegrown statistics to make sure you can build a squad with viable players to hit the maximum limits of the numbers that you can get. You need homegrown players through the academy, you need English players as well, because they form the backbone of what you're trying to build. And Gomez is still young, still in his prime. He's had a few injuries as well. He's still got to score his goal for Liverpool as well. There's no way Gomez is leaving, even for the first team ventures, for trying to, break into the international setup, which he won't under Gareth Southgate, because Southgate has his favourites. Harry Maguire, I'm looking at you, Sir Harold of Maguire. I think Gomez will be essential for Liverpool for everything we want to do, because he fills on so many positions: left back, right back, even defensive midfielder, centre back, and he does what you need him to do. A steady Eddie, very reliable first sub coming on to shore up the back line as well. Versatile, and he's upped his passing game, and his crossing on the right is very good. Gomez ain't going nowhere. Nat Phillips, definitely gone. He's hung around for so long. We've rewarded him with that lucrative contract. Well played, Nat Phillips. Him and Reece Williams will be going to Pastors New, but that picture, the iconic picture of them battered and bruised, hand over the shoulder, holding each other through the trenches, as Roy Keane likes to say, they did us proud. We held the opposition at bay with that back line. Credit, no disrespect there. Owen Beck did fantastic at Dundee, brought back in our left back emergency crisis time, covering for Tsimikas, covering for Robbo. We have Gomez who can play left back, Bradley can play left back as well. It's going to be very hard to find a place for Owen Beck in the next squad, but he's still a youngster. He's only like 21 years old or something like that, and he's got a bit about him. He's got a bit of the Robbo tenacity, quality left foot, and we need left-footed defenders. In fact, we need left-footed players in the entirety of the squad. So here's the thing around keeping Kostas Tsimikas, because a lot of people are saying, Kostas Tsimikas, time to go, bring in another left-back alternative. Kostas Tsimikas is so popular in the locker room. Him and Mo Salah have a bromance going on. Everyone loves to make Kostas Tsimikas the butt end of jokes. He takes it. He's got those big eye bags as well. He's the Greek Scouse. The Scouse Greeks got the winning penalty against Chelsea as well. Quality left back that never complains. A wonder of a left foot. Now, Curtis Jones and Gakpo said, who's got the best left foot in the Liverpool squad? It's not Salah, it ain't Robbo. They both named Kostas Tsimikas. When you've got quality delivery from the left slot, and his ability to play wide, and his ability to invert into the middle as well, and his ability not to complain, when fans are clamouring for a left-sided centre-back who has a left foot, and Ten Hag says when you have a left foot in the defensive line, you have different options as well, why would you be getting rid of Tsimikas, who has a left foot in the defensive line with a quality left foot delivery from out wide as well? Don't tell me you want a centre-back, a left-footed centre-back, while getting rid of one of the only left foots, the best left foot in our squad. Doesn't make sense. Could he go? He could possibly go if he wanted to search for good first-team opportunities elsewhere, but he signed a new contract in the full knowledge that he's behind Robertson, and he's happy to play that squad role because spirit, the unity of a player like Kostas Tsimikas is invaluable. And he keeps Mo Salah happy as well if Mo Salah were to stay. Okay, so left back, we've talked about left backs. I think we're not going to buy a player there, but we could potentially buy a left-sided centre-back like a David Hanko, like a Nkapie, like a Inacio, one of those players. There's three players that's always named, right? Obviously, Hanko being named because of Arne Slot connection, but I think there's other left-footed centre-backs that's worth keeping an eye on, and I will do that video very shortly. Not just the big three, and Michael Edwards always has a cracker of a signing up his sleeve because he must have a short list that absolutely goes on scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. Love me some statistics. Love me Michael Edwards. It's not about the name and the player and the fame. It's about the talent and the right fit. Back to right back, Connor Bradley, able deputy for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, Calvin Ramsey, can he really break into that lineup? Because he was the one ahead of Connor Bradley. We brought him in to be that right back, but he sustained many injuries. Out on loan, he played okay, but it's very competitive in that right back slot because Joe Gomez is also a very able right back. Trent, Connor Bradley, I wouldn't say one is ahead of the other because they offer different things, which is amazing to say because that's credit to Connor Bradley's name, the fact that he's established himself and he's so talented going up and down the wing. He's really got composure in the final third as well. He enters the opposition box like a winger, like a striker, like a seasoned veteran, and puts it on a plate for our players who just missed the ball. That's for another day. Connor Bradley, Alexander-Arnold has cemented the right back position. Gomez is a very able right back as well, and you put him against the best wingers and usually he has them in the pocket. I'm looking at you, Rashford, even against Vinicius, against other players. Gomez is probably the most steady Eddie there. Connor Bradley's decent as well. He's tenacious, right? He's got a bit of the Flanagans around him, except he's so much better than Flanagan ever was. So right back is pretty much covered. So Calvin Ramsey is on a knife edge here. He might have another loan to see where he can really cut it, but I don't see his position in the squad, so he might be one for the chopping block just because he can't get over those injuries. Now, Sepp Vandenberg, the Ginger Ninja, is a very interesting one. He had a great loan now. He's Dutch as well. He could be the replacement for Matip. It'd be the cheapest option. It'd be a viable option. He's proven his credentials in terms of going out on loan and performing. Steady Eddie, decent in the air, great fourth choice. Young, he's a bit of an all-rounder really. I would compare him with a younger Milan Skriniar, who's now at PSG, was at Inter Milan as well. Had a season or two, really dominant. Bit about him, I think, Sepp Vandenberg. I'd like to keep him around, but additionally, a loan may suit him as well. Let's see what he can do. We have Nallo in the ranks as well. Very talented centre-back. He could be the next big thing. Jarell Quansah, true wonder kid. Got the calmness and composure of a Van Dijk, the strides of a Matip to get out of defence, the technique and the techers to do your Cruyff turns and worm his way out of trouble. One or two moments of and lapses of concentration, but overall, what a quality player. Now, really, when you talk about Liverpool needing a centre-back, look at that roster right there. Van Dijk, Quansah, Konate, Gomez, Vandenberg. That's already a pretty decent starting building block. It must be someone extra special to add some secret sauce to that defence. I still want that defender, right? It could be left-footed. It adds some versatility there, but left-footed centre-back, he's going to be competing against Van Dijk. Think about that for a second. Van Dijk owns that left centre-back slot. Now, let's go to defensive midfield. So some people are clamouring for defensive midfield signing, but very questionable because Bajcetic is so highly regarded in Liverpool that one of the main reasons we signed Wataru Endo was to give Bajcetic a pathway into the first team, to break into the first team. He's very comfortable sitting in front of that back line, and the players trust him intrinsically to pass difficult passes, ball to feet, and trust him to worm his way out of trouble or distribute it first time, right? He could be a Busquets type of player, a Rodri type of player. Very cheeky, very confident, lots of techers, lots of talent, can play the 8 as well, but predominantly will probably play number 6 in Arne Slot's lineup. Wataru Endo is a destroyer. Proved his credentials in the biggest matchups against Manchester City. We missed him against Chelsea. We missed him more than Salah during January when AFCON and Asia Cup of Nations took place as well, the Asia Cup. I think Wataru Endo's here to stay. Some absolutely bonkers rumours about, might look to replace Endo because, you need experience in the squad. People don't understand that Mourinho built a winning team, Conte built a winning team, Alex Ferguson built a winning team, but more akin to Liverpool, Bob Paisley and Bill Shankly built winning teams on the back of serious experience, serious men who are respected, hard as nails, and will go through the trenches and win you the games, bring you through the tough periods, ride the wave, make sure that the players knuckle down, they know their role, they shut their mouths and they do their things on the pitch, right? Wataru Endo is one of those. No nonsense. His only thoughts are on the game, bringing people up to standard, raising the offside line, pressuring the opposition into their half, distributing the ball. He is an absolute veteran, well-travelled as well. Bundesliga, J-League, Premier League, proven his credentials. Run out of legs towards the end of the season, but him and McAllister being run down to the ground. So between Bajcetic, Endo, McAllister, who can play in the deep lying 6 position, especially in the double pivot Arne Slot usually plays as well, because he can traverse up and down between the 6 and the 8 and the 10, which would be very interesting to see where Arne Slot plays him. Then we have Tyler Morton, who's doing very good things at Hull as well. He's being a tempo maestro. He's really a metronome. He moves the ball around. He's got the vision. He's got composure on the ball, but he actually adds something to attack as well. So the good thing I like about Endo And Tyler Morton is in the offensive third. They have something to offer. A long dipping shot, a curling shot to the top corner. Knowing they need a goal, they will get into half space, be the late last man runner for the ball to come back, and they will take their shot. Tyler Morton, I think, deserves a chance in this team, but he's going to have to fight for it, because between McAllister, Endo, Bacetic, and Tyler Morton, that is a host of players who can play the sixth position. And that's not even talking about the inverting Trent for another day, inverting Gomez for another day, McConnell, who's been preferred in the sixth position as well, and even Bobby Clark can play all the midfield positions, and even Soboslai early seasons been playing deep towards the late part of the game. So many options for sixth position. That Ajao Paulinho, which is a horrible take, because he will cost absolutely huge amounts of money. Important for Fulham in terms of not just breaking the opposition's tempo and their offensive threat, but transitioning and breaking the lines, because he's a good passer as well. But he's of that age where you already have Wataru Endo. It would have been last season if we get him. We didn't go from last season. We're not going to get him this season. Another awful take, by the way, that I heard has nothing to do with defensive midfielders. Osimhen. You can't just say, yeah, I'm taking Osimhen, mate. Nunes, Barcelona, let's bring in Osimhen. Tell me 20 things about Osimhen that you think would be good for Liverpool, right? Watch your highlight reels and tell me it's not going to happen. Against Napoli, not going to happen. Anyway, speaking of sixes, Thiago Alcantara, such a shame, such a silky player. That undercut daisy cutter against Porto, beautiful switch. Him in training with Lucho Diaz, thing of beauty, absolutely majestic. But the wages, the injuries, can't rely on him. It's very unfortunate. He's moving on to pastures new. We free up those wages as well. Thank him for the moments of magic, just wasn't enough. If he played the season, that could be the missing ingredient, that secret sauce that got us over the line. An enigma that just wasn't to be. This book actually has some detail around players like Alcantara and certain movements he does, which will explain why probably Thiago picks up those kind of injuries, right? Those swivel hips, unfortunate injuries and niggles that Endo doesn't pick up as often. I will be translating this. I'm more than halfway through the book now. I will do a members section whereby I will get in depth into every different page and explain the philosophies that Endo is talking about, but also the concepts and what he really does day in, day out in training, and probably how he's going to bring those attributes into Liverpool changing room as well. Keep an eye on it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of content coming up. Miyazaki Man Ichiban. Like if you haven't liked already. Really helps this video get seen to beat the algorithm. Lots of competition on Liverpool content creation. But yeah, this channel is substance and abundance. So let's keep going. Ryan Gravenberch, huge role to play. Huge talent, huge potential. Got to find consistency. Got to find a nailed down role. Arne Slot's the man to do it, because Arne Slot is a man manager and he's Dutch, right? Gravenberch stays. Curtis Jones stays. Scows. Technical marvel, just needs to find the confidence to show what he's showing in the under-21s in terms of playing the ball early. He holds onto the ball too long, but he's so talented. Curtis Jones will never leave. Forget the fact that people want to trade off players just like their dice or the miniatures or the figurines or models or whatever. You can't. Curtis Jones will stay, probably sign a new contract eventually as well. Other options in midfield, Dominic Szoboszlai, Hungarian captain. So here's another attribute that you got to understand when team building, especially Liverpool's team building, especially Michael Edwards' team building. He hoards leaders. Virgil van Dijk, captain, international captain. Robbo, international captain. Trent, vice captain. Van Dijk is our new captain. Alisson Becker is a figurehead, leadership, standout marvel of a man, right? Mo Salah, captain. Wataru Endo, captain of Japan. Lucho Diaz, vice captain. You truly need the leaders to stand up and be counted and lead by example. So we have an abundance of leaders. It's very unrealistic to get rid of so much of the leadership team. I don't think it'll happen. Leadership team, just for your knowledge, is Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent, used to be Henderson, used to be Milner as well. Mo Salah's included this season, and Alisson Becker. 5 players that form this season's Liverpool leadership team. Enough said about their credentials, right? So let's look further into midfield. So for sure, Alexis McAllister, probably our player of the season, stays. What a wonderful signing. Signing of the season, most likely, even in the whole Premier League. It's been fantastic. But Rice has also been absolutely amazing as well. And then up front. So let's talk about up front. So here's where it really gets interesting. Cody Gakpo, for sure, left winger. Quality, can play pseudo striker as well. He'll be a major part of Arne Slot's team going forwards. I really like his performance in that left wing slot, inverting and rotating with the centre forward. Lucho Diaz and Gakpo rotating could be beautiful. Jota and Gakpo rotating could be beautiful. Diogo Jota is the slotter. It's amazing how, right, because of the fee we signed him for, because of reliability and him interchanging with Mane, Firmino, Salah, that he went so many matches without scoring and no one really said a word because he's still contributing as well. And now, when he is injured every now and again, he's slotting like a prime fouler, left foot, right foot header, diminutive, but a genius of finding space and clinical finishing. Diogo Jota will stay, and we need him to be fit to have a successful season. Darwin Núñez is the big question mark. Agent of Chaos deleted all of his Instagram, social media things, but he's done that before at Benfica, right? He is an emotional character, he's a sensitive character. I get the feeling he needs an arm over the shoulder and needs constant love and attention to bring out the best of him. He's a type like a Heskey, who's a little bit sensitive. When things aren't going well, rather than kick him and, you know, prey on their manliness and say man up or anything, you need to, come on son, Darwin mate, you can do it. You've gone to good positions. Getting into positions is the first step for being able to convert the chances. Players who can't even get into position don't even deserve a moment of thought, but he gets into positions to miss it. The next thing is to find out how to change those misses into goal conversions, because imagine that he converted at least 50% more of his current chances. We might have won a Premier League. We might have done a lot of good things, but then again, the whole team's confidence was shot, including his, and as a striker, it's telescope focused because obviously goals win games and scoring goals is the hardest thing, which is why they cost the most. Darwin Núñez costs a lot of money. If we were to sell him, we would not get back even half the amount of money realistically in his current patch of form, and especially with who's been linked to him. Barcelona are completely skint. Barcelona have no money. Doesn't matter how many levers they pull, they got no money. Zilch, zinc. And you can't just say swap him with Rafinha or swap him with Araujo or Gavi or whatever. It won't be Araujo because Ronald Araujo is Uruguayan and he'll go there for that little international link up. But Darwin Núñez, he's not really a technical forward either. He's more akin to a Fernando Torres who really plays for a counter-attacking team. They don't play for the build-up, gentle possession-based style of football that Xavi plays with Barcelona. So overall, I think Darwin Núñez stays. He's got to have a season under Arne Slot where there's a predominant number 10 who slides him in, slips him in, plays those early balls that his first-time runs can get on the end of, because element of surprise is the most crucial attribute to get Darwin Núñez in behind. You play it moments too late and he's offside. He's offside way too much because he's eager to beat that press, beat the offside trap before it's set, and we just don't have the player to play it through. So number 10 would be very good to slide him in. Harvey Elliott and McAllister. Hopefully a Szoboszlai, Fabio Carvalho as well. Fabio Carvalho is a very interesting player because he doesn't have a set position. He would play number 10 in the Liverpool lineup. On the wing, he can play wide, but he hasn't got the attributes. He's not super skillful. He's not super fast. He's got good footwork, good touch, good vision. Worms his way out of trouble as well, but he can't really do much unless he inverts into half space where Salah is or where Lucho Diaz likes to go before he works his magic. But can he get ahead of Salah? Can he get ahead of Lucho Diaz in that role? Very difficult to see. Starting number 10, can he get ahead of McAllister? Can he get ahead of Szoboszlai? Can he get ahead of Harvey Elliott? Also difficult to see. So he might be first backup to change a game or the person to provide a bit of magic from that 10 position. But it'd be hard to see Fabio Carvalho really staking claim in this Liverpool team, because dominating in the Championship is not the same as dominating in Premier League against the same opposition. You need the team to be built around your number 10 to get the most out of them, and your number 10 to work well to get the most out of your 8th striker like Darwin Núñez. So could potentially be a sell of Fabio Carvalho. We may not keep him. Darwin Núñez, I still think we'll keep him for the fact that we can't turn over that amount of money. And people have been talking about a sting operation of Michael Edwards saying that he's a Klopp signing. But would you sacrifice that real value and high ceiling and potential of Darwin Núñez for all his misses, for all the criticisms, for everything he's getting on social media to get 45 million? What can you do with 45 million in terms of replacing the striker? Goalkeeper will not come in and smash goals because the system needs to be designed around the off-the-ball running of a Goalkeeper. If you look at Liverpool players who could play that number 9 position, right, you're looking at Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota. Salah is not an out number 9. Cody Gakpo is more of a 10 than a 9, and he's not even a 10 really anyway. So what you'd be trading off with Darwin Núñez is a what-if of a player consistently finding their current level of performance in a Liverpool lineup that they never played with before against opposition that they never played with before. So unless you're signing someone from the Premier League, an Ollie Watkins, for example, which I don't think we'd probably go for because he's more of a hard-working, grafting forward who works his chances, right? But is Ollie Watkins such an upgrade from Darwin Núñez? Because Ollie Watkins was very off form until Unai Emery came in. So it could be a change of manager that facilitates the change in Darwin Núñez's form. Think about that before you absolutely pile on. Constructive criticism is great. Everyone needs constructive criticism as well as support and an arm over the shoulder. But pure hatred and flame, as I mentioned, it's no, out of order. Even Klopp said, don't want you supporting Liverpool if you flame our players. Constructively criticise them, sure, why not? But outright toxic filth, don't do it, mates. And then there's links to Lucho Diaz, and his dad keeps propping up Barcelona as well. But actually, he's come to form in the last few weeks. Busts his ass off, busts a gut, tracks back, brings the ball forward, joins into the attack, transitions into the attack, cuts inside, quality finishing, just needs to be a bit more clinical, a little bit higher percentage shot. Lucho Diaz is probably our best winger, our most effective winger at being a winger, inverted forward style winger. I don't think Barcelona can afford him. I don't think any team can afford what we would want from a Lucho Diaz. And even though people say, I'd happily trade Diaz because his metrics and statistics, he hasn't got an end product. He's settled in the Liverpool team. He's popular as well. He's got that childlike enthusiasm. He's a good kid as well. I think we have another season lease of Lucho Diaz. I don't think they'll sell him, mainly because I don't think any team would pay the amount of money, because you're looking at 70, 80 million for Lucho Diaz. Because if you're pricing a Kaoru Mitoma or Pedro Neto or any of these players at that kind of rate, even if you bring in a Nico Williams at a 45 million, how do you know that he's going to be like a fish to water in the Premier League with the physicality, with the energy levels necessary and the goal contributions that Lucho Diaz has been offering despite his many misses in the biggest occasions, right? The only way is up. You can't judge historically. Lucho Diaz, I think, in the Arne Slot system will be very exciting, because Arne Slot loves to pin the wingers 1v1 against the opposition fullback and let wingers be wingers. I made a whole video on that. Didn't perform for whatever reason, but we never ever let that stop me, right? So we look on the other side. Mo Salah, Egyptian king, Saudi Arabia links. No one pays 100 million. The reason Mo Salah stays is because no one will pay the value that he offers to the Liverpool team, and he's a model professional, first in training, first out. Look at his body, absolutely immaculate as well. Mo Salah is the idol for Harvey Elliott and other players coming to Liverpool to show what it means to be a Liverpool legend, because he is a Liverpool legend. Consistently high goal scorer. He only needs 2 goals to get to 20. He is the only player that gets, I think, 10 assists and 10 goals consistently 3 seasons in a row. And it's between him and Rooney, I want to say, that's been 5 seasons of double figures assists and goals. And Rooney didn't do it consecutively in 3 seasons. So Mo Salah is standing out there on his own as an absolute icon of the game. But he has to change his game somewhat because his finishing power is lackluster. He hasn't got the speed and dribbling ability to really make an impact out wide. But cutting inside into offensive half space, he knows exactly what to do. Like his layoff to Harvey Elliott into that inside channel that allows Harvey Elliott on the perpendicular lateral to bend it in with full power, because left-footed right winger, he knows exactly the type of ball that Harvey Elliott wants. Ben Doak, big injury, but he stays. World-class potential. I mean, people don't see it, but when you have that tenacity to go right at players, and when Klopp puts you on, he doesn't usually trust youngsters, but he put on Ben Doak against Chelsea, you must have something about you. You must really look like a pit bull bulldog, because he does, and he'll strike fear into the opposition because he drives directly at them. He just lacks the power in his foot as well. But when you've got such a direct player with pace, close ball control, they'll always lay on chances, lay off the chance, get to the Bayern and lay it off. And as I mentioned, Arne Slot likes their one-on-one wingers. Ben Doak is it. Similar to Cade Gordon, more silky, more technical than a Ben Doak, slightly slower, but highly regarded as well. So in the right winger slot, we have options. Harvey Elliott, Lucho Diaz can play out there as well. Jota can play out there, but it's not really predominantly a right winger. He's more effective on the left and up front as well. And then you got Ben Doak and you got Cade Gordon. I think that's okay. Troy Ignoni will have lots of opportunities in the Arne Slot team, because Troy Ignoni looks like a total baller, right? You've seen Kobe Mainu for Man United. Mainu really came to prominence this season, but Troy Ignoni is one to watch. I think he'll be the next breakout youngster. And you got youngsters like Bobby Clark, who's effective in all roles and very clean and tidy player. And Kumas, I think Kumas on left wing will get a loan as well. He's a goal-scoring wide forward. He's a pseudo left winger wide forward. He's a little bit like Gakpo. He got a crucial goal for us, but I don't think he breaks into the team next season. So I think Kumas goes out on loan. Bobby Clark, I think, will be kept in and around the squad because he counts as homegrown and he can fill in a multitude of midfield possessions. And Yoni, I think, will make the bench more often than not and will come on, because I think Slot trusts the youngsters to make a difference with their abilities more than a Jurgen Klopp. We've also seen how coming through the ranks together makes a big difference, right? Bobby Clark, McConnell, Kumas, they're all in there and thereabouts, and they look up to Harvey Elliott as the first one to broke through, but obviously Bajcetic is in that group of players as well. The young camaraderie of a team, growing up together, making the first team together. It's a close-knit unit. The Gakpo, Curtis Jones loving, the Tsimikas, Salah loving. There's, so much bromance going on, and I'm all for it. And continuity is so important. When a new manager comes in, you've got to learn about the players. You've got to understand who gets on well with who, what the relationships are like in the dressing room, in the stadium, on the pitch. The chemistry, the triangles. Obviously, you've got like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah, Szoboszlai, Elliott on that side, Robertson, Lucho Diaz, Curtis Jones, Diogo Jota, the partnership between Endo and McAllister, Szoboszlai hopefully in front of him, forming that triple threat as well. Nunes needs to build the relationships with players in and around him. He had a little bromance for a little period with Mo Salah, right? We've got to build up the chemistry, build up the triangles, and Arne Slot will understand when he comes in, give all the players a chance to shine, show what they're about, and show that they can fit into the Arne Slot slot machine system, because that is what I'm really looking forward to. There's going to be enough people going out. Thiago will go out for sure. Matip will go out for sure. Kelleher may go out. Nunes may go out. Salah may go out. Bobby Clark could go out on loan. Kumas probably will go out on loan. Calvin Ramsey is going to be sold or go out on loan. Nat Phillips will go out. Reece Williams will go out as well. Adrian San Miguel will go out. Pichulaga probably go out on loan as well. There's enough outgoings there, and especially revenue generation, and free up the wage budget and transfer budget in terms of Thiago Alcantara, especially going right, that I think will make at least 3 signings in the transfer window. I think Arne Slot will bring in a winger because he loves the classic winger option as well, and we don't really have that except from Ben Doak, who goes around the outside. Okay, I also think we'll bring in centre back because we need someone long term that can settle in, even though they're a rotational option for now. Long term for Virgil van Dijk, or a long term partner for the left sided centre back if Virgil van Dijk really can keep his levels. And as good as Konate is, and Quanta is the future, and Joe Gomez is a great option as well, and Nalo's coming through, as I mentioned as well. Kumetio won't make it here. Kumetio will probably be sold. I think those are the 2 prominent positions, and the long-term Mo Salah replacement as the winger is a very vital part. I don't think we'll sign a defensive midfielder unless there's a quality youngster, right, who can play defensive midfield. I think we'll look for the next big thing in the playmaking 10 position or in the rotational 6 position if they consider Bajcetic a number 8. If they consider Bajcetic number 8, it'll be the long-term successor to Wataru Endo in the 6th position, or an outstanding playmaker of the highest caliber, not an attacking midfielder, right, and not a transitional midfielder who can do everything, an out-and-out quality number 10 who can do the Florian Wirtz type role, the Odegaard type role. If there's someone there, and I think there are a few, I'll do it in the next video, they're the targets that I think Arne Slot will be looking at with Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. But once again, the budget isn't infinite, but we have a lot of outgoing expenditure in terms of Thiago Alcantara's wages off the book, Adrian off the book, Matip off the book. So it'll be a very exciting summer. Everyone will want to do well, right? Gambale Liverpool, Miyazaki Man, Ichiban. Subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of great content coming up. Like if you haven't already as well. Smash the like button. Really helps the video. Until next time, still moving as you see. Just came in to do this video. Janet, have a good day.